Academy, we have the report of the board of the KDE with these people.
Yeah. Yeah. Is it on? Is it on? Yeah? No? Okay. Yes. Yeah, thank you. Should we introduce ourselves first? Yeah, I guess so. Well, this presentation, what we're doing is some content that used to be part of our AGM or General Assembly, but since a few years back, we've started doing it in the open so that, well, all of the communities, well, is exposed to all of the work we've been working, and you're aware of what things we do. And yeah, let's introduce ourselves first. I'm going to start. My name is Alesh. I am the KDE president right now. I've been doing KDE software for quite a while.
Hi, I'm Lydia. I am the vice president of KDE, and also quite a while, 20 years almost.
Hi, I'm Nate Graham. I am board member A. I have been doing KDE stuff for way less time than all of these illustrious people, but I try to make up for it with passion and irritating pointy sticks instead.
Hi, I'm Eike. I've been with KDE since 2005, and I'm currently vice president and treasurer on the board.
Hi, I'm Adrian. I am board member B, and I make up for that by having the whip.
They're banked, you know.
Yeah, thanks, folks. Good, then, as Adrian, I think, said, we're going to have an election this year. Both Adrian and Nate are up for voting. Any one of you who is a KDE member, you can consider joining. And actually, if you're not a KDE member and you're doing things in KDE, you should consider becoming one. This year we had, so far, 3 new members. Last year we had some more, and actually over the last few days there was a little bit of a push for getting new people in, and we can see that there's 5 pending, but the vote is not over yet, so we cannot really list them yet. But yeah, consider joining the KDE.
Wow, we have 2 microphones, such luxury. And now I have to keep my eyesight. Check. So we have a number of different income channels. You'll hear more about that later in the financial working group report, actually. But you can see that in general, these numbers are not going down, which is very nice. We have more supporting members than we did in the previous year. The highlight is that we have many recurring donations now from non-members, because DonorBox makes it very easy. That's quite healthy for our income. We also have 2 new corporate supporting members this year. We have Tech Paladin, a company that has appeared that employs many of the KDE contributors you know and love, as well as Synergy, who make very exciting software around the desktop that allows you to synchronize your devices and move your mouse cursor across screens over the network and fancy things like that. All right.
KDE EV has a couple of primary purposes. One of them is organizing Academy. The other is hiring people to support the KDE community. This is our list of contractors. We'll talk about them in more detail. Most of our contractors are, in fact, here, so you can reach out and talk to them from a respectful distance.
All right. For those who don't know each of them, let's introduce them. First one, Petra. Petra is amazing in organizing our office and making sure that all our paperwork, accounting, and all these things are in order, and it's amazing that we have her for so many years now. Next slide, please. Then we have Dina, who supports us in making this event and others happen. So if you... And then we have Farid, who is with KDE EV to help organize around the goals. Make sure that the community has all the support they need for the goals. So if you ever have requests around the goals, need help, connections, all of these things, Farid is your man. And then we have two amazing people, Nicole and Joseph, who are doing KDE Eco. And I hope you were in their amazing presentation earlier to learn all about the current project. And yeah, this is really a big project for KDE EV because it's a significant amount of money that we're working with there from the Bundesumweltamt, but also it's a big deal for us that we can make a project like this happen that started in the KDE community and that we could support with the organizational backing that it needs.
They also own this laptop, according to the sticker, so this talk would not be happening without them.
All right.
Next up, we have our amazing marketing team made up of Paul and Annika. I think I see Annika over there. Paul and Annika make sure that KDE is... Paul and Annika make sure that KDE is well represented out in people's minds and helping to spread the word about the work that we do. They do all sorts of amazing stuff. They do social media. They help promote events. They have also been responsible for the recent hilarious KDE Linux promo campaign that all of you saw earlier. So that was them. They did a really great job there. And we're super happy that KDE is well represented in the public sphere.
Yes, and as part of a program that we started a few years back that we called Make a Living with KDE, we started working, we started hiring for people to work on our products, which was something that, as you can see, like from what we've discussed so far, it's more like people who make our products viable, but not like actually working on the products themselves. First will be Kristen, who is actually our newer contractor. She started in April this year, and we've been working on making it better to install Plasma on devices and polishing that part of our ecosystem. But the idea is to make sure that Plasma is a viable thing that when a hardware manufacturer or somebody comes, we can tell them, yes, you can just use it, it's going to be amazing, without caveats or saying, and we hope that the community will back it. Another one from Make a Living is Nicolas's presentation, Nicolas Vela. I'm sure all of you know him. With Nicolas, we've been working towards making sure that all of you can contribute and work on KDE without having to, or with a very comfortable platform. For example, we've been working on documentation, the technical aspects of documentation in this regard. We've been working on like making sure that... yeah, exactly. New account framework and lots of stability. He's also releasing KDE frameworks these days. So yeah, thanks a lot to Nicolas.
Yeah, as Aleix just mentioned, documentation is very important. Where would we be without documentation? So we have a technical writer, Tiago, who unfortunately can't be here because he's in Brazil, who has been documenting all kinds of parts of the KDE frameworks and is also supporting our new languages efforts. So Rust is right out there for readable stuff. Carrying on.
And earlier, Aleix mentioned breaking down the barriers for people to use Plasma. One of those barriers, sometimes physical and other times legal, is accessibility. This is a story that's been really important to us for a long time. And to reflect that, KDE EV has hired a well-known person in the community who goes by the name of Richie as our accessibility contractor. And he's been helping to make Plasma more accessible, both in practical ways to people who have accessibility needs and also in legal ways that the EU now mandates. So this has been something that is very important, and we decided to put some EV funds behind this to reflect that.
Okay, I mentioned earlier, one of the things the EV does is organize Academy. Well, here we are at Academy. Very appreciative that you're all here and not in the room next door. Yeah, big thank you to you being you. Feel free to applaud. Yay. And a big thank you to the local team, the TU, everyone who's making it possible for us to sit here and enjoy the entire conference. Looking forward, next year KDE will turn 30 years old. 30 years wise. It also means that next year's birthday Bash Academy will be extra big and extra special. So if you want to help organize that, reach out to us. There's a link there to the news, and that includes how to get in touch with organizing. Carrying on, sprints. When we're not all together, we try to get some people together to work on specific technical things. I see the KDE Live people there. You're special because you got together and got stuff done. You notice the list is kind of short. We're wrestling a little with finding sub-communities that want to get together for sprint-like activities. So we keep asking the question, what would you like to sprint on next? Reach out to us, the board, to tell us what you want. Moving on.
Yes, we have a mic. Another thing that we use KDE EV for is helping the KDE community be present at various events that are not our own. We do that by reimbursing travel, funding conference swag, a lot of things like that. And I'm getting instructions for how to hold the microphone correctly. We also do that. That's fantastic. You will notice this is a really long list, which is quite cool. There are some events on here that we've been to for the first time. There are other events that we haven't been at for a few years that we're now regularly attending again. This is humming along, and it's certainly helping out. It's maybe interesting to contrast this with the previous slide. One thing that we have detected is that we have more KDE people attending middleware events like Display Next and so on. It might be an indication that KDE people are going places to get work done, but maybe outside our bubble, which could be a good thing. All right, but we also put on events of our own. You already talked about Academy. We are at Academy. We had one last year, which was great. We had not one, but 2 Linux App Summits since the last time we congregated at Academy. I don't know how they made this happen, but they did. We also had a Conf KDE in our satellite event in India again for now 2 years in a row after it took a break for a few years. So again, this is something that has come back and seems to have come back for good, or seems to be put on regularly again, which is great. And of course, last year we had our Big 6 mega release party, which is only to be outdone by the 30-year birthday party next year. All right, fundraising. I will not go into great detail here because you'll hear me ramble on about it in the financial working group report later. But in short, we just had the best financial year of our 29-year history, which is really great. We told you in the last 2 years that it's time to step up our fundraising efforts, and everyone did, from the working group to, of course, the donors, and it's been fantastic. We have 2 new patrons. I think you mentioned this already as well. One thing that we also do is apply for grants. We've done this, of course, in the past with the Blauer Engel project, and now with its successor project, which is in the 2nd year so far. It's something we want to get better at and keep doing more and more in the future. But for now, it's really good that we are able to sustain what we already have. Another thing that we did recently with some of the product work that Aleix mentioned that we also contract these days is that we had a project to improve infrastructure around getting KDE apps on various application stores. First off, to reach more users, but also perhaps as an additional income channel. And what we did in the past year is launch our first paid pilot apps on app stores, and we are seeing some revenue from that. If you're an application developer, you can potentially help us increase that.
Next up, we have the goals process. This is something that KDE EV started a number of years ago. We get together periodically, and we democratically elect high-level goals to determine what it is we want to put extra special focus on. We've now done this several times. The response from the goals process has been really very good, and we're going to have a little bit later reports on specific goals. These goals have been some of the most successful ones that we've seen so far, and we attribute this to the result of some changes that we made in the process. In past years, we had specific goal champions. This year, we decided to do goal champion teams. We've also put a little bit more focus into getting external funding and grants, and we also have a very involved goal support coordinator in the form of Fareed, which is super duper helpful. We're now, I believe, halfway into the goal cycle, so there's still plenty of time for people to contribute. If you're unsure what to do, there will be things that you can learn about in the goal session a little bit later. So let's make sure that we're doing that. And this is a process that KDE EV is very interested in continuing to improve and seeing to succeed. So we're always thinking about how to make the goals process stronger and better and more transparent. And if any of you have ways to improve it that you can think of, or you want to participate, please feel free to do so. This is an open, community-wide democratic process, and that's the way we want it to be. Moving on, we want to talk a little bit about the highlights of the year that we see. So KDE EV cannot take credit for any of these things ourselves. We oversee a lot of the legal and financial aspects of the community, but ultimately all of you sitting here watching are the ones who made this stuff possible, and we want to recognize a lot of this really great work because y'all are awesome, and we can't do this without you. It's a team effort. So let's talk about a couple of specific things. First of all, as Ike mentioned, we had a ridiculously successful fundraising year last time. We have gone back to doing end-of-year fundraisers. We skipped these for a couple years and recently brought them back. Every year, we find that we're able to increase the amount that we ask for in the fundraiser, and we have no trouble achieving and even beating this goal. So people are out there really happy about what we're doing, and they want to donate. This year, we decided to be a little bit bolder even, and we added a request for donations into Plasma itself in the form of a notification that appears once a year in December. The response that we saw from this was absolutely bananas. It was over 150,000 euros beyond what we would have gotten without it, so really, really, really huge response. That's big. Another one that maybe might not be quite so obvious and doesn't make headlines is that an increasing number of Linux distros are actually shipping Plasma by default these days. We mentioned earlier breaking down the barriers to institutions and individuals using Plasma. We've seen a good response to that in the form of more and more distros adopting it. Maybe not ones that people might be familiar with from 20 or 30 years ago. We're not talking about Ubuntu and Debian, but we're talking about new distros that are also very popular. Distros like Bazite, distros like CachyOS. There's also, of course, the elephant in the room, SteamOS, which is shipped on commercial hardware, used by millions of people. Then there's also the fact that Fedora, which used to be a GNOME-first distro, now has Plasma as a co-equal status. So in general, distributors are really happy with our stuff out there. There's also the Sustainable Software for Sustainable Hardware grant that we received that's been funding a ton of work. We heard earlier from Joseph and Nicole and others about the success of this project. It's been really great. So that's a big success for the KDE community as well. And on top of this, we're seeing a lot of institutional maturity from the community in the form of taking on large-scale projects that tie everything together. We heard earlier from Harold about KDE Linux. This is something that touches all aspects of the stack. This really represents KDE taking a lot more initiative and responsibility for the entire experience that people get. There's Andy's design system, which we also heard about earlier. There's Union, which unfortunately all of you in this room are not hearing about because it's over there, but there will be lots more about that as well. And finally, we also have KDE taking initiative on the keyboard the virtual keyboard situation. So in general, we see that this is just a big thing for KDE taking initiative for its own future.
Yeah, something that is not super exciting at first glance, but we wanted to definitely put some focus on is the dissolution of the KDE League. This is some topic that was already a KDE topic before I joined the board, like 10 years back or so. And when we finally managed to close it this year, so yay! We are one organization less. It's also important because like now we know who we are a little bit more. Like there's not this noise. you can read the announcement that we wanted to do in 2022. So yeah.
Okay, let's go back in time a little bit. Last year, we said that we set these goals for ourselves. We wanted to support the KDE goals. We announced new goals last year. This year, we're doing sort of a halfway report on them. We also wanted to evolve the financial situation. We wanted to get a little bit bolder with fundraising. And we also wanted to make sure that in a post-COVID world, we were continuing to meet together in person as a community. Those were going to be very important things for us. As for how it worked out, the goals have been running pretty well. We have solicited help. Farida's been doing a great job with that. Our new financial situation, which Ika and I discussed, is incredible. It's really, really, really good here. And in terms of coming together, we've definitely done more academies. Academies are great. We've been attending LAS as well. As Adrian mentioned, we haven't seen quite the response from Sprint, so we're going to be brainstorming on how we can do a better job to support that and encourage people to do a lot more of that. It's good to see that KDE contributors are doing stuff outside of KDE's orbit. We also want to make sure that we're doing it inside as well. And there's more. We said we wanted to do even more things. We wanted to, as it says, move beyond make a living. So this has been a priority for the board to put financial resources behind technical projects that are strategically important for KDE. We have evolved one of these roles into Kristen's position, where the idea is to break down the barriers to using Plasma. This is a very important one. I feel like we have succeeded on this. Polishing a hardware partnership story is very important too. This has been something that we're explicitly supporting with that new role. We reach out to partners and we do a lot of work to try to strategically develop the software in a way that makes it easy to adopt. This is something that is very important as we reach beyond our bubble and we start talking to members of the general population and say, hey, use KDE, use Linux. Well, we have to have our house in order. This is why we're making that a focus. And number 3 is we wanted to make the app stores out there support KDE EV financially. This is something that we've managed to do technically, but we haven't quite succeeded on the financial side yet. We have a couple of paid apps, but we haven't seen an enormous revenue channel from this, so we're going to be continuing to monitor this and see how it evolves, see if there's anything that we can do to grow this as a revenue source in the future.
And now to talk, these were the slides from last year and the conclusion, because now we know. This is what we want to do, or to be working on towards next year. So last year, we chose the new goals. We started working on them. We want to continue doing something that we've wanted to do from the KDE board for the longest time is to make it easier for goals to become the way we allocate money. We haven't really managed to do that super efficiently, but we continue thinking it's a good way to, well, to put our effort, which is a big part of how we can do things from the KDE. Also, like Ika was saying, our financial landscape is changing quite a bit. For example, years back, Academy was one of the big ways where to fund KDE. It doesn't look like it's so much anymore. Also, the enterprise side of fundraising hasn't been all that successful, especially if we compare it to the individual donors, which is what Ika was mentioning. Well, we need to digest all of that and make sure that we continue working and understanding what supports us, right? Like if we are not working, leveraging the things that we know are important, it's going to be hard for us to move on. But there's definitely opportunities, like we said. We had a very good year, and we need to learn to make more good years in the future, right? Coming together continues being an important goal for the organization, continuing to organize Academy, meet and work like we're doing right now. Also, we want to continue working on the Linux App Summit, which we organize together with GNOME, because it's important to be part of the ecosystem we're in the world. It's not just us right here. And for the next year, it's going to be our 30th anniversary. And we want to make it big. We want to shed light on the importance that this has. 30 years for a software organization is not a joke, and we need to celebrate it, right? I think that we all want to do that. On a more technical side, something that we've seen that is becoming more and more important for our organization and effectively what we put into the world, which is our product, is infrastructure. We need to make sure that, well, we are prepared and we have all of the resources that are needed to be successful for KDE, right? Big part of our budget already is, well, servers, it's CI systems, building, et cetera, et cetera. Are we doing what we need? Are we doing what our developers need? Are we catering to KDE's users as they need? Because that also seems to be changing. It's something that we need to see that we're doing properly and address and maybe put some more resources from the KDV if that's necessary. And that goes directly into the next point, the direct software delivery. It's something that is happening more and more, and we need to make sure that we are able to deliver what our people need. Something that we wanted to also be including more, because we used to delegate a lot of this distribution to third parties or second parties, if you wish. But if we're doing it right ourselves, we need to make sure that we are sensible to the realities that happen around the world. There's legal frameworks that we need to make sure we're catering to, and that also is going to open, we think, a lot of new opportunities for both the organization and our software, like understanding properly the CRA is going to be a big topic, I'm sure, accessibility, and yeah, the different laws that happen all over the world. Especially in Europe, like we were saying in the keynote, we do like to regulate everything. So if we become good at it, it's going to be awesome, right? So yeah, we trust that all of you are going to be on board, and we're going to make it awesome. That's what we wanted to talk about today. All of us, the board, you can talk to us if you found something that you find interesting or that you want to work on. You don't need to be in the board if you want to work on like KDV topics. We definitely welcome everyone to join and say, I don't want to be on the board, but I don't know, I really care about licensing, I really care about organizing Academy, I really care about fundraising. That's actually why we set up the working groups as well. So be sure to stay at the next talk and see what they talk about and which one you want to join. Actually, we kind of expect all of you to be joining some of them. If we have some time, maybe we can have some questions and answer right now. Otherwise, on Thursday, we're going to have Bob's session, the 5 of us, I think, or the ones who are remaining anyway. And yeah, we can talk about anything over there. Actually, we're not going to have an agenda there. It's going to be your questions. So if you don't come with questions, it's going to be boring. But then we can always talk about AIDS whip or something.
I'm waiting for the signal that you need to stop and I can whip you.
You have 40 seconds. Thank you very much.
Cool. So this is the board. Thanks. Do you guys have questions for them that you want to? Yeah, please. Nicole.
I'll run.
So next year, you're turning 30, and it's going to be celebrating, and there's going to be a square dance, right? Good. That was my question.
I didn't agree to that yet.
Yet.
We can have a vote about it.
Let's have a vote.
On the topic of events, there was a recent proposal to co-host Academy and the GNOME variant of that. What are your thoughts on that?
I think it's a very good topic for Thursday, isn't it? Yeah. Do we have another question?
A question that we do want to answer?
Well, it's not really like a question, it's more like an observation.
Questions?
about the sprints, what we been doing inside of KDE Community is to try to do like sort of meetups, not on the sprint wiki, not really like official, but just like try to meet up at mine and Tobias' kitchen with like 5 to 7, 8 people, and maybe some other community, local community want to try to do that.
You could still reimburse a doner kebab.
Maybe not. Which is amazing, but one of the points of sprints is inviting new people, right? And if we don't announce that a sprint is happening at this time, at this place, and this is what's happening, and actually inviting new people, that's not getting us the new people that we need. So please do advertise.
Yeah, I mean, to double down on what Lydia said, the thing is, if we only do Academy, there's only a single opportunity at some point in the year for 1 week to be somewhere, right? And that doesn't catch all the people who maybe have a different schedule or in a different geographical location. So, you know, getting somebody that experience that bonds them to the community potentially for a very long time, I think is still quite important.
More questions? Maybe something from online? No online questions? More room questions? If there are no room questions, then we should wrap this up. Thank you for attending.
Cool. Thank you. So up next, in about 13 minutes, you got some break time, will be the second most exciting presentation of the day, the report of the working groups of the EV.